Hello, good evening, everyone, or whenever you're watching this. Welcome back to the South Stand View. I'm joined by my girlfriend, Charlie. But before we go any further, guys, can I ask you to make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing, as I always do. If you've got a problem, I'll meet you in the car park. I'll add Dennis Wise and Phil here. Charlie, not a great result, mate, yesterday, but we'll touch on the Coventry game to balance it out a bit. But first of all, how are you, mate?
All right, mate. Yeah, obviously I did miss the last pod that we recorded as I was dying. And as you said off air, I think we've passed it on to Mike. Mike is not doing naked portraits this evening. He has lost his voice. So that's why he's not joining us. But yeah, I'm all good. Obviously, I braved the FA Cup game yesterday. I was there. It's 90 minutes of my life that I won't get back, but I'm sure we'll touch upon it. But as you said, we'll speak about a few positives as well tonight, I'm sure. But yeah, other than that, mate, I'm all good. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Can't complain like you, mate. Can't really get them 90 minutes of life back. But
No.
where do you want to start, mate? Do you want to start on the happiness of Coventry? Or do you want to get the negatives out of the way early doors?
I reckon we'll just get the negatives out of the way. I think we'll obviously end on a positive note. On more things that matter, I'll phrase it. Because this, and I know it sounds bitter because obviously the game yesterday just wasn't great, and obviously I'm saying it doesn't matter. If we'd have won, it'd have been good, but in the grand scheme of things, mate, it doesn't matter really, does it?
Not at all, mate. I mean, I know it's going to sound like whataboutery now we've gone out of the cup, but I'm not really arsed, mate. As long as we didn't take a beating, well,
no,
I think we did it pretty convincingly. But saying that, statistics are going our way, but statistics don't win you football matches, bro. But from the lineup, we'll start there then, mate. What did you think when you saw the likes of? I think we knew it was going to be a change lineup. I think Farke said previously 1 or 2 changes might be a bit too much, and then he makes 10 with Sam Chambers making his debut, mate. So overall on the lineup, mate, what were your thoughts when you saw it at 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock? 11 o'clock, whenever it was.
Yeah. I was, as you say, mate, I wasn't surprised that he'd made changes, but I didn't think it were going to be that many. I think it were only Ethan Ampadu that kept his place from the game against Coventry. All the others were changed, and a few players in there that I expected to feature, the likes of Joseph, Ramazani and Nonto, maybe Joe Rothwell. I did actually expect Big J to play as well. But yeah,
in the end, couldn't make it.
No. But Sam Chambers was an interesting one. As soon as I saw that, I thought, right, okay. We'll either go one of 2 ways. He'll either shine or he'll play shit, basically. And I think, not to sound harsh, but I think that's the way it went for him. You could just tell that it was going to be disjointed. So I kind of had, as soon as I saw the lineup, I was kind of prepared for the fact that even if we won the game, it wasn't going to be vintage. It wasn't going to be free flowing. Obviously, fair play to Millwall for getting the win in the end, but you could just tell that they played their full team that they play every week because they just knew where each other were. Whereas us lot, we just looked lost at times. I'm sure we'll speak about some individuals, but you know, all these people that are hammering Farke for not playing certain players. I think yesterday is a lesson learned for those people, mate.
Mate, if, for example, if we played full strength, we played Solomon and he pulled his hamstring. I know he came on, but if we played Maddo Solomon, started him, and then he pulled up, he'd be getting fucking dogs abuse, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's done.
He can't win either way. He can't win either way, really. I don't think.
Not at all, mate. I mean, I did expect to see changes. I didn't expect to see the likes of Sam Chambers. I mean, you see a lot of people at times when we're thin saying, "Oh, we've got the academy to rely on," like DeBio and Chambers and people like that. But mate, shit bus, mate. They're not ready. If they were, they'd be in the squad. I mean, yesterday showed at championship level. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say what we put out was, well, I'd say it's a championship team. It wouldn't win the league or get in the playoffs or anything like that, mate. But it's it's so far away from our first 11 and the quality of our first 11. If we're relying on people like Sam Chambers and people were calling for DeBayo to be in the team if we got injuries, but mate, they're just not ready.
Yeah, and I said to a few people around me yesterday that I'm obviously touch wood this doesn't happen, but if we are to get injuries in this running now, and these are the players that are going to come in, then I would be really, really worried. And the lack of activity in that transfer period would just, it would just be so frustrating to look back on if that does happen. Obviously, like I said, touch wood, it doesn't happen. And I think we've actually handled injuries quite well this season. Obviously, when Tanaka and Joe Rothwell came in, they obviously handled it really well. But like I said, I'm sure we'll speak about a few individuals, but certain areas of the pitch, I'm hoping the likes of Jayden Bogle and Junior Firpo don't get another injury, let's put it that way. I'm hoping there's no more midfield injuries. But as I said, I'm sure we'll speak about individuals. So which individual would you like to start on, mate?
We'll run through the team then, mate, and you can give me your opinion.
Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, go on.
So we'll start at the back then, mate. Carl Darlow. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of his performance, mate, to be honest.
I other than the two shots that they scored from, I don't think he had anything to do in the game, really.
Well, they were the only two shots on target, mate, didn't they?
Exactly, and both goals were not his fault at all. The first one definitely not. It's a huge deflection. The second one, there's a lot in the build-up where that goal could have easily been avoided. So I don't blame him, but I don't think he did anything great or bad. He was just there. He was just there. So yeah.
Well, now he lands a well beater, mate. He's not getting in the squad, is he?
No, obviously, we'll be able to touch upon that in a bit, won't we, when we discuss the Coventry game. But yeah, I think it does prove that at this moment in time that Ilan is the best option until the end of the season at least. But should we get promoted, there definitely needs to be a change there. But that's a topic for another day.
He knew all along, did Farke, didn't he? Anyway, moving on. Yeah. Isaac Schmidt, mate. I mean, we watched against, who did we play in the previous round?
Harrogate,
mate, and we were all fucking on saying, why is he not getting enough game time? He looks decent, that Isaac Schmidt. Why aren't we playing him? Why is he getting no minutes? And then we put him up against a team of championship opposition, mate, and that's the performance he gives us.
Yeah, like, as I've said, just pray for an injury-free rest of the season for Jayden Bogle, because if that's the player that is waiting in the wings, then fuck me. I mean, where do I start? Is on the ball just looks scared. His touch was poor. Thought his positional awareness at the back was shocking. I think the second goal, I don't know where he is, but there's just that Aziz has just got the freedom of their left-hand side to run into that space and score. Yeah, just a game to forget for him. And, I think we all know now why Farke has kept him in the bin all season, because he's not very good. And if I'm honest, I don't think Farke signed off on that signing, to be fair. But again, that's just my opinion.
I think it was a case of you said you wanted a fullback, mate. Yeah, we found one from Switzerland for about 2 million. Yeah. So moving on to the skipper then, mate, all Leafs. I mean, we spoke briefly off air, I think, or it might have been at the start of the show, saying we didn't really think he covered himself in glory. I mean, there was a few parts where I think in the second half he was trying to walk around and run the ball out from the back and he had it took off his toes, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Ethan Ampadu. I think he's had a great season, and I think since he's come back from injury, he has played really well. He's fitting again seamlessly, but in a one-off isolating incident yesterday, I didn't think he was great yesterday. I thought he looked quite shaky. Is it maybe a bit of fatigue starting to creep in? Who knows? Like I said, he hadn't actually been back that long, really. So maybe it is that reoccurring. But yeah, I think you could just tell with the whole back four, in fairness, you could say this about all of them, that you just knew it was a back four that hadn't played together at all season. They just didn't know where each other were. They didn't know who was picking up who. But yeah, I don't think he covered himself in great glory yesterday, mate. To be fair, how about you?
I think it shows in that defence, mate, and especially in the centre half there, in that how much we sort of rely on Joe Rothwell to be the organiser in that back four, mate. He's a consistent.
You mean Joe Rodon? You mean Rodon?
Sorry, mate. Yeah, too many Joes in this fucking team.
Yeah.
Joe Rodon, mate. Yeah, but he's just the organiser, mate. I think you see him constantly shouting at people all the time, seeing Moody and that, but he gets us organised, mate, and he gets us going. But yeah, mate, Pascal off penalties for you now.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I saw him get hold of the ball, I turned around to the bloke next to me. I said, I'm sure he missed his last penalty. Yeah, and he did. It was Cardiff away when he missed that pen. And on that day, it didn't matter. But yesterday it did. He scored one against Preston last season. And everyone seems to think he can take penalties. Like,
he scored one this season, though, hasn't he?
Has he?
I think so.
Oh wait, yeah, he might. Oh, he scored against Pompey on the opening day.
That was it, mate. Yeah.
So yeah, fair play. Yeah, fair play. I hold my hands up there, but he missed his last one. Now, someone said on Twitter last night, and it's bang on. To be fair, as much as I love Pascal, if that was Bamford taking that and he'd have missed that, he'd have got absolute pelters. But yeah, he seems to get away with it. I think the old experiment of centre backs on penalties just needs to stop now. I get Perot. I don't think was on the pitch at that point, but give it to Nonto, give it to Largy, even Sam Chambers, Joseph, anyone in that forward line, just give it to over a centre back for me. And not to jump ahead a bit, because I'm sure we'll speak about Joseph, but I think that shows the lack of trust in Joseph in front of goal, the fact that they've not put the striker on that penalty. But yeah, a poor penalty, but a decent save from their goalie. But yeah, off penalties for me now.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate. I don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, I can't name another.
I don't know what the hierarchy is. I don't know what the hierarchy is in terms of pens. I just don't.
No, if everyone's on the pitch in our starting 11, you must think Perot, Solomon.
Perot, yeah.
People like that, mate. But Pascal usually picks the ball up. But yeah, mate, fucking. I don't know. Like, why is a centre half taking penalties for us? But anyway, mate, fuck it, it's done now. We probably won't see him taking penalties again. So, Big J, mate, he had a fucking shocker.
I think you've forgotten someone in that back four.
Sam Byram, yeah, mate. I was gonna loop round.
Oh, well, yeah, right, okay. Well,
I was just gonna let him get away with it.
Just very briefly on Sam Byram again. I love him. I get what he brings to the squad and everything, and he has been decent this season for us. But yesterday, yeah, I just thought he would gash. I thought the whole back four was, like I said, they just didn't look like they had any form of relationship at all. So yeah.
And then, as the aforementioned Big J, mate, I mean, we sort of becoming a bit of a comedy signing now, mate. His last two performances didn't look any great shakes against Harrogate, a lower opposition. Then obviously his first sort of any great period of time playing against a championship outfit, mate, and he just looked so far off it, didn't
he? Yeah, I mean, I think we all know now why his only involvements have come with about at the maximum 5 minutes remaining in a game. He looked like Yaya Toure physically, but then he got hold of the ball, and I was like, yeah, maybe Yaya Toure now, yeah. But I feel sorry for him because I love him as a bloke, like everything he says and just how he comes across. He just seems like a genuinely nice guy, but football isn't about nice guys. It's about people who can actually play well. And I get why he's part of the squad, because I'm sure behind the scenes, I'm sure he's great with the rest of the squad, especially the younger players. But yeah, just stick to being a cheerleader, mate, and maybe just get back to the care home where it is you come from.
He's lucky to still be on the pitch, mate.
How he stayed on, I do not know, to be honest.
Have you seen it back? His yellow card.
No, it should have been a red though, shouldn't it? Apparently,
should have been a red, mate. I was like, "Fuck, gone here," because he overran the ball and then just stamped on the kid. I was like, "He's gone here."
I did say as it happened though. I said to the lad behind me, I went, you can't send Big J off. He's too nice. Like, you just can't send him off.
He was apologetic.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So maybe he thought, oh, you're a nice guy. Have a yellow, mate. But
yeah,
moving on, mate, to someone we see a lot more frequently. Although yesterday, well, no one comes away with a good performance, mate. But Joe Rothwell.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Exactly.
I don't think it was obviously his usual best, but maybe the fact that he didn't have like an Ampadu or a Tanaka in with him just maybe hindered his performance a little bit. He was trying to get forward and stuff, and there was some odd bit of nice passing, but again, I felt like it was difficult to get anything sort of going in that game yesterday. But yeah, like I said, it was just all right. It was okay. Yeah. It was the best of a bad bunch, I think.
Exactly that, mate. For me, when he hasn't got great players around him, he reminds me of like when Forshaw was fit playing for us. Do you know what I mean? Just neat and tidy. But I think he does need that player that's arguably a better footballer than him, as in Tanaka, certainly, and then an Ampadu in midfield as well, mate. But we'll give Joe a bit of a pass there, mate. Like you said, not terrible, but again, not great. But we'll move on to the debutant then, mate. Young 17-year-old Sam Chambers. I mean, he had flashes for me of looking all right. I mean, first half, he looked quite like he was getting into the game, had a few shots, mate, had a chance that I feel like he should be scoring, 17 or not, if you're on the pitch, mate. You need to be taking them chances. But overall, his stats aren't great, mate. I think he's our lowest performer. Yeah, it is, apart from Darlow. But yeah, mate, thoughts on the debutant?
Yeah, I think it's obviously clear to see that he's obviously not ready to be part of the first team fold after that performance yesterday. As you've said, there were flashes of like decent moments for him. Should have scored at least one of those opportunities from what I can remember. Some decent touches, but I did feel he was quite weak in challenges at points. He was getting easily bodied off of the ball. Again, he's 17. He's playing against grizzled championship bastards at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna be too harsh on him because he is only 17, and I'm sure there's potential for him to come good. And someone around me yesterday said, "Oh yeah, but Joseph's only young as well," and I'm like,
"He's about 4 or 5 years older than him."
Yeah, but still, I get that Joseph is a young footballer, but you've got to apply context. Sam Chambers has had little to no first team experience, whereas Joseph has had plenty of opportunities to prove himself this season and has failed to do so in most occasions.
And, mate, there's no reliance on Sam Chambers in this squad.
No,
there is an element of reliance on Matty Joseph. Do you know what I mean? At the start of the season, we were expecting to be number 9.
Championship top scorer, I think we said, didn't we?
Well, Mikey said, not us. We'll avoid any responsibility there.
Avoid punishment there.
Yeah, mate. But we'll touch on Joseph then, mate. Then we'll come back for Nonto and Ramazani.
Yeah, just easily worst performance in a Leeds shirt from Joseph for me yesterday. Everything he touched just didn't happen, just bouncing off of him. The stuff that he's usually quite good at, holding the ball up and just linking play, he couldn't even do that. Didn't really get that many opportunities to score, so I won't go in on him too much for that. But yeah, just every time he lost the ball as well, people were giving him shit and they were shouting at him, and they're calling him this, calling him that. And I think it's clear to see now, isn't it? Look, Joel Perreault has got his falls. He has 100%. There are 100%. Like Leeds, like, we're not delusional. We know that he's got elements to his game where it's frustrating to watch at times, but at the same time, it's still clear as day that he has to be our starting number 9. If he's fit for the remaining of the season, he has to start every game for me. And yeah, unlucky League Two, Joseph. He's been demoted again now.
Relegated
Back down
again.
to League Two. Back down to League Two.
League Two, Matty's back. I didn't realise I could get individual stats from players, mate, and I wish I didn't click on Matty Joseph. So 90 minutes played, shots 0, touches 26, passes successful 9 out of 17. Fucking hell. Aerial duels 1-0, times possession lost 12. Fucking hell. Not a great day for old League Two, Matty, but we'll leave that there with him, mate. But were you expecting more from the likes of Nonto and Ramazani yesterday, mate? We'll do them as a bit of a tour. I was, personally.
I was, yeah. I was quite disappointed in him, to be fair. I thought Nonto was the slightly better of the two. At least he actually did look like, yeah, exactly. And he did look like he was, even though it just wasn't happening for him, he was at least trying to push the pace a little bit. Thought Largy was a weird performance, way off it. His touch was off. It was backing out of challenges. There was one where it was clean through and the keeper came out. And if he'd have just nicked it past him, he'd have got brought down, but the keeper had probably got sent off. But he just backed off it and just let the keeper have it. And just little instances like that and just getting dispossessed way too easily. So, yeah, and again, there's a lot of these players who, again, like the likes of Isaac Schmidt, the likes of Big J, obviously Nonto and Largy, who aren't playing a lot at the minute. They got their opportunity to maybe make a case to Farke yesterday, and they just didn't take it. So it's clear to see why he's at his preferred 11 now with the likes of Solomon and James and stuff. You can just tell why he's at that point now, can't you?
Absolutely, mate. I mean, there was probably a case, like you say, for players that aren't getting much game time to sort of play their way into the plans. And I think they've played their way out of the fucking plans, mate, with that performance yesterday. But let's look at it, the lineup and the performance as a whole. Do you think the players that are sort of, we'll call them fringe players like the Nontos and Ramazanis and Josephs and Ampadu's and Strauchs and blah, 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 people that play a lot, do you think they sort of saw the remainder of the lineup and thought, we're fucking chucking it in here? Obviously, the gaffer's not too bothered about the result because, you know what I
mean? Yeah, potentially. I mean, and you could kind of tell with how they were playing, even like at 1-0 down, they were still not really pushing the pace. Then obviously it goes to 2 and you kind of know it's done at that point. And again, they were just passing it around, just lackluster, just doing, again, no urgency, no initiative to get forward. And to a degree, I can understand it. Obviously, from us fans' point of view, we don't want to be in these competitions because there's more at stake, to us, like getting promoted, and you don't want players getting injured and burnt out and stuff. But from Farke and like the players' point of view, surely they want to go out and win every game possible. And I get why he rotated, like I do, but it's kind of a weird one because he's rotated, but then at 2-0 down, he's brought a few at best players on anyway. So I'm like, you said you're rotating to rest players. That's what I mean. I said to someone, I went, he's only putting them on just to try and make himself look like he's trying to win the game. He's not. Like, he's definitely not. And you could tell the likes of Solomon and Perot, they didn't want to get injured. They were just, as soon as they got the ball, they were just playing it safe. And yeah. And obviously Farke came on as well, and you could just tell that they just weren't bothered. Which fair enough, I guess. But
fair enough, mate. But as we were fucking around in the FA Cup, mate, Watford did us a turn by getting a result away at Sunderland.
Yeah, they were literally 2 minutes away from it being a perfect result for us. But obviously they did pull an equaliser back, didn't they? But at least they dropped points. Obviously Sheffield United. The stats from the Sheffield United Portsmouth game, Portsmouth should have been about 4-1 up.
Yeah,
But just
Hamface
couldn't
wasn't
take
happy,
the
mate, in the
chances.
post-match.
Why not? No.
No, mate. He said they played terribly, and I was like, "Yeah, you did, mate." So,
But to be fair to them, they played terribly and they still managed to get a result. As well as we are doing at the minute. In years gone by, if we play terrible, we get beat or draw at the very worst. So, but yeah, it was still a decent day for us in terms of the championship. We're still 2 points clear.
still,
I think
mate.
I'm sure Sheffield United have got Middlesbrough midweek on Wednesday.
I will
So
check that
again,
now.
I'm 95% sure that they've got Middlesbrough. It
You
is
are
at
correct.
Bramall Lane. Is it at
It is.
Bramall Lane?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Borough beat them at the Riverside in the first game they played with each other. So that could be at least a draw. I would think. They're a decent side of Borough.
Three
A
tough
bit
games,
inconsistent.
mate.
You what, mate? Sorry.
3 tough games coming up for them.
Right. So who have they got next then? So they've got Borough.
Borough, then away at Luton on Saturday, and then they're playing us at their place, mate, on the 24th.
I expect them to beat Luton, to be fair. But the Borough game and obviously the game against us, I'm gonna call it now. I might have egg on my face at the time, but I think we beat them at Bramall Lane. I
So
do. I think in a weird way, I think the Sunderland game will be more difficult than that game. But again, only time will tell on that. But yeah, like I say, if we can beat Watford on Tuesday, then I'm all good. I said to someone at the game yesterday, I said I'd rather lose this and beat Watford Tuesday. So
Absolutely, mate. Hopefully, the
yeah.
slight knocks that Roden and Dan James have subsided a little bit, mate, because apparently that's the reason why they weren't included in the squad. I don't know if that's genuine or fact, just saying have a day off, lads. But we are 5 points clear of third place, mate. So we can only take the positives there, can't we? And all the games, we're all equal on 31 games now, mate. 5 points clear of third.
Exactly, yeah. As I've said, it was a decent day for us yesterday. Obviously, Burnley were in the cup. They beat Southampton, didn't they?
Yeah, Edwards, fuck me. Look good in go on.
Yeah, shit, innit? But anyway, moving on.
Mate.
It's mad, isn't it, that they can't score in the Championship, but they can beat a Premier League team. But I mean,
Well,
I say a Premier League team.
Use that word loosely, mate.
Yeah, I say the Premier League team. They're more or less Championship out there, but yeah. But shall we go back to happier times, mate?
We should indeed, mate, I think. So cast your mind back a week or so ago. We've just beat Cardiff 7-0. And then we go to, what's it fucking called now?
The CBS Arena.
CBS, mate. I still know it as the Rico Arena, showing my age there.
I do,
but
yeah.
Farke versus Fat Frank. Have they ever come across each other previously, mate? Not that I can remember.
I wouldn't like to think Farke could be coming across anyone, in fairness, mate. But
well, he does in the loft, mate. You want to see it. Anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
I don't think they might have played. Was Farke in the Premier Norwich when he was at Chelsea or Everton? Possibly.
I'm not sure, but I mean, he absolutely humbled him the other night.
He gave him, slapped his ass and sent him to bed, as I like to say, mate. So let me try and get a few of the stats up from that game. But yeah, mate.
How that wasn't another 7-0 is absolutely beyond me. Absolutely battered them from minute one. So yeah,
mate, it was. I'm so annoyed that it wasn't more, but here we go. We've got the stats up here, mate. So I'd like you to touch on a player that you seem to be hot on, mate. And I saw you on Twitter shortly after his goal, calling him the best right back in the division. If you care to touch on young Jaden.
Yeah, I have to eat a little bit of humble pie, I think, on this one, because at the start of the season, I was, I've said it a few times, but at the start of the season, I was questioning why we'd bought him. I can't lie. I thought a few of his early performances were not great, but I think when you look back on it now, it was settling into a new team, into a new playing style, new tactics, a new voice. So I can kind of give him a pass on that now. But definitely since sort of December onwards, but
Yeah,
definitely, just what a player. Again, I'll bring Dan James into it as well. The link up that they've got down that right hand side is just an absolute joke at this level. But the goal he scored the other night, obviously, he's kind of gifted it really from their keeper, but the
the
build
run.
up, the run, I think he beat 2 or 3 players on his way through. Just what he offers us offensively on that right hand side as well as defensively. I just think, just what a player. And as I tweeted out, and it's not Leeds United bias, but it is definitely the best right back in the league, like by a country mile. And the fact we only got him for 5 million is an absolute steal.
Mate, it is a steal. I mean, we did some very good business in the summer, mate. I know with the money we accrued, we were sort of expecting 10, 20 million on certain players, and we've been like, yeah, we've got the money, why aren't we spending it? But then we've been pretty frugal in the market, mate, especially in summer. Well, we've been very fucking frugal in January. Jesus Christ.
Tanaka as well, 2 million.
Mate, that needs investigating. That the reason, I don't know what it was. It must be like a conspiracy theory about how he was allowed to play in Bundesliga 2. But you won't be happy with the stats, mate. Gruev got an 8.1 and Tanaka got a 7.3. So I guess that means that Gruev is better than Tanaka. You'd agree?
Absolutely, yeah. I can only put that down to him maybe completing more passes or something like that, maybe, because it's all algorithm based. I understood why he put Gruev in for that game. I think Gruev will play on Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, because if Pascal is back fit, it'll probably be Rodon and Pascal, won't it? So it'll probably be Ampadu and Tanaka maybe on Tuesday. But then again, I could understand if he put Gruev in because away from home, when it's going to be a bit more competitive in midfield, Gruev is a safe pair of hands in games like that. I can understand why he played him against Burnley as well, to be fair. But yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. I just don't, as a progressive midfielder, I just don't think he is that player, obviously. But yeah,
he's not.
I thought it was good.
And I think that might be a reason why we had to sacrifice one of either Kamara or Gruev in the summer, mate. There was talk, you'll be laughing at this, there was talk in the summer of Gruev going to Dortmund, if you remember.
Wow, yeah.
So, yeah.
Again, a league like that might suit a player like him, though, in fairness. A lot more slow-paced, isn't it? So, yeah.
Have you seen where our mate Glenn's gone?
Yeah, he's gone to Saudi, hasn't he?
Al-Shabaab, mate, in Saudi. Glenn's 4 clubs in 2 years for Glenn now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? But, yeah,
Rangers,
fair play to him.
Rangers, Leeds, Rennes and Al-Shabaab. The fall off is crazy.
All that tax-free cash, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what he's earning now, because he wouldn't have been on a bad whack at Rennes, and then he's obviously gone to Saudi. But I don't think they wanted him anyway. Anyway, fuck Gan Kamara, who left. We'll do the back 4 then, mate. Rodon, pretty solid, as we expect.
Yeah.
The Coventry game alongside him, mate.
Bogle, unbelievable. Thought Ampadu played well in that game as well. Firpo, just what he gives us down that left-hand side. You know, the back 4 is just a lot more balanced. Again, I've said it about Bogle and James, but I think Firpo and Solomon have started to get a bit of an understanding down that left-hand side now as well. So, yeah, we've just got an embarrassment of riches on either side now, I think, mate.
Mate, unbelievable. But before we go any further, I've sort of forgot to mention him, because that's probably just force of habit on my part, because I'm usually pissed off of him most of the time. The keeper, mate. We give him enough shit. And we've given him enough shit over the recent weeks, especially a few of the howlers he's had. So we'll give him his credit where it's due. I could not believe my fucking eyes, mate, when I seen them saves he made. I think there was 2. But Charles, Ilan fucking Meslier, the best keeper in the division.
I mean, I'll be honest, I never doubted him, to be honest. I've always been no, I can't even say it with a straight face. No, as you've said, you have to give credit where it's due. Other than those 2 saves, he didn't really have anything to do in the game, to be fair.
Oh.
He still had the odd shaky moment where they'd play a ball up the pitch and he'd like go for it, but then he didn't and stuff like that. But that, especially the first one, the first save was out of this world. But again, obviously I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it's frustrating because that is what he can do. Like, he can do that, but yet he doesn't do it on. But then he'll just go and do a hull where he just throws the ball into his own net, pretty much, and it's so weird. Even like I said, the second save was decent. Obviously, I think he pushed it onto the bar, and he really kept us in that game because, like I've briefly said, the amount of chances we had in that game, it should have been put to bed at that point anyway. But it could have come back to bite us on arse if he'd have let either of those 2 in. But yeah, fair play, Ilan. Fair play.
Mate, if it was Ilan of 2-3 weeks ago, we'd come away 2-2 in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As mad as that is to think. I mean, we had an extra 3.64 and theirs was 0.50. So it'd have been a fucking travesty of footballing history if we came away from that with a draw. But Ilan, I won't say bailed us out because we should have been fucking 5 up, but kept us comfortable, mate. We'll call it. Kept us comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a game where going into it, I was quite nervous because on paper, and I think you'll agree, that is a game where in years gone by that we fuck up and
last season,
badly.
Mate. Well,
yeah, exactly. But especially just everything around it, like a midweek game under the lights, away,
Lampard, Grimes,
Lampard, just everything. And after such a dominant game against Cardiff, where obviously we finished 7-0, I was expecting a win, but I wasn't expecting that level of performance again. But obviously, apart from the scoreline being what it was, I'd argue it was on par or maybe better than the Cardiff performance at times. And the fact that we played that well back to back in such a short space of time, all the more confirms to me that obviously that game against Millwall was just, that doesn't matter. I think on Tuesday we go to Watford and win that as well. So yeah,
mate. So I doubt we'll get on tomorrow, mate. So we'll do a quick preview of that Watford game. So
yeah, we'll have a quick one. Yeah,
are they 10th in the league? I think.
Yes, mate. So. Yeah.
But again, last season it didn't really go too well for us down there, did it? Emmanuel Dennis scored twice, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, it were a draw, wasn't it? It finished 2-2. I remember it was Mateo Joseph that equalised. I remember I was in Nottingham that on a night out for that game. It was over the Easter weekend period. It was the Friday night. And yeah, obviously Joseph just got us out of jail in that one. It wasn't a great performance. I think Somerville scored that really good bendy goal, like proper curler.
Trademark.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great performance last time out down there. But I think we're in such good form at this moment in time, and yeah, I just can't see anything other than a Leeds win. I will give them a bit of credit though. They're probably one of the very few teams that have come to Ellen Road this season and actually tried to play football and actually give us a good game. At Ellen Road, I think we only beat them 2-1. It was quite a close game in the end. So yeah, I'm expecting a win, but I don't think it'll be an easy game by any stretch. But again,
no,
I didn't think the Coventry game would be easy, and it turned out that it was. So who knows?
I'm a bit fearful of this one, mate. I don't know why. Might be scars left over from last season, but looking at them, mate, they've won winning 5. They won their game. Who was that against? But then they lost 3.
Upstep Leeds United.
Upstep Leeds United, mate. We've had some ones where they... 1 winning 5, mate. So they won their 5th last game, 3 losses, and then the draw against Sunderland. So they've not been going too well at the minute. I mean, they've been on a bit of a shitter since 5 games ago. I don't know what they were like before that, mate, but inconsistent is what we'll get from them. Obviously, if they're in 10th, they're not going to be too consistent anyway, but who's their manager now? They fucking go through managers like us under Cellino.
Tom Cleverley.
Is it still him? I thought he got the boot.
No, it was. I think that ended up being a lot of rubbish, that rumour.
All right.
But yeah.
But speaking of changes, mate, in our league, who do you reckon Derby are going to get now they've sacked Paul Warne?
Well, I've seen that they've gone for John Eustace.
I've seen they've gone for Jim as well.
Yeah, but obviously John Eustace has even said after their game earlier against Wolves in Cup that he's been approached and that he's going to speak to owners and stuff. And I'm just like, why would you want to go from 6th down to 22nd? Like, unless they're offering you a really good wage.
Or the buyout clause has been met, mate, from Derby.
I think they've said they can match the buyout clause. So, yeah, it'd be a very strange move for him with that. But again, not our problem.
Who the favourites are for them?
The game on Tuesday should be a win, though, shouldn't it? Like, anything less than a win, I would be very disappointed, I think.
I'd hope so, mate. Like I said, I've just got a bit of scar tissue left over from last season there. Was it a draw or did we lose? No, it was Matty Joseph in the last minute.
Draw, yeah, we're 2-2. Yeah.
Very, very late on. But, yeah, mate, I mean, I'm expecting a win, don't get me wrong. There isn't many games in this division now where I don't expect us to go in and win, mate, to be honest. But, yeah, what would you do with the lineup? You said maybe Gruev. If I'm honest, mate, I think it's probably the same lineup that we went to Coventry with. I know Pascal's playing now, but I think he probably puts him back on the bench.
Yeah, I can see it being the same team. But if he is going to make a change, I think it will be Pascal in. And Ampadu into the midfield with Tanaka. But other than that, I can see it being exactly the same, yeah. Like we've touched upon when we spoke about the game against Millwall yesterday, I think this 11 just picks itself now, really, doesn't it?
You've got to be thinking, if you're Joe Rothwell, like last time I was on the pitch, apart from the cup game, we won 7-0. And now I've gone 2 games without getting a start. So,
but that's just the good squad depth that we've got in that midfield area, though, isn't it? So
yeah, mate, game's the game for Joe Rothwell. He's like, fucking, what can I do? But like you say, mate, we're pretty strong all over the park, other than probably the 10 and the 9 position. We've got it pretty much covered, mate, locked off. So we will see how we shake out on Tuesday against Watford then, mate. But other than that, mate.
What's your score prediction?
I'll go. I don't see us conceding. I'll go 2-0 Leeds. Scorers being Big Daddy Joel and James O'Sullivan, mate. Flip a coin, innit?
Yes, fair.
A bit safe, that, innit? Now, is he top of the scoring charts now, Joel?
He's not top of scoring. He's joint on goals and assists.
Right.
With that Borgia signs. But no.
What about you, mate? Prediction?
Prediction. I'm gonna go 2-0 as well.
Nice, mate.
And I think it'll be James and Solomon who score in this.
He's 2 off Borgia signs, mate.
He's on 14 then.
13. Borgia signs has got 15.
Right, okay.
But again, not a bad return for old Jolie P, is it? I know we'd give him a lot of shit, mate, but what did he get? 14 last year? And then
it's better than the alternative, isn't it? It's better than the alternative.
You know, mate. Yeah. Touching on Matty Joseph before we wrap it up, mate. Do you think his confidence is just on his ass at the minute? Because he's missed a few chances this year, and he's young, so we need to facilitate for that. But then, like I've said previously on different pods, we haven't really got time to be developing players this season.
I think if he hadn't have been built up as much in pre-season as that he was going to be our number 9 and he was going to,
I thought that.
you know, a little bit, yeah. But obviously it was built up like it was going to be his breakthrough season and this and that. And then obviously that just hasn't unfolded. I think it's more disappointment, really.
Yeah.
But like you say, Joe Perreault's just got to start every game that he's fit now.
Correct, mate. Correct. As you'll remember, we were getting into discussions at the start of the season, and I was saying, why is this idiot starting? Because he's poo. And I was a bit hot-headed on it. But, yeah, mate, Big Daddy Joel will win the Golden Boot. I've no doubts. All we need is Borges to someone again, and then he'll have a clear run of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Charlie, if you will be so kind as to wrap us up, mate, and then we will reconvene on Wednesday or Thursday with the reaction from Watford. Mike might have finished his AIDS treatment by then, so hopefully he'll be back with us.
Yeah, hopefully. So, yeah, as Isaac said at the beginning, guys, make sure that you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. And as he said there as well, probably won't get a chance to come on before the Watford game, so it'll probably be either Wednesday or Thursday where we will be reacting to that game. Hopefully it's another win. And then I think we go into the Sheffield United game then after that. So we definitely need 3 points on Tuesday, and fingers crossed we get it. But as I've said, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in a bit. Cheers.